Opinions and ideas expressed in the following Moraine Valley Broadcast Channel recording are those of its creators and do not represent the views of Moraine Valley Community College.
Hi everyone, it's Emma, and this is Fast Food Talk, and I am here with
Anthony.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Brooke.
And today we're going to be talking about obesity and the different types of discourse that goes along with it, like popular, academic, political, and the food industry. So who wants to give the definition for discourse?
I think general discourse is the study of the way language and words kind of describe text in context, especially with obesity, because there's so many different ways to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very topical.
It is, and people have so many opinions about it, and they can be wrong, they can be right, but everyone's going to think they're right, so that's why I feel like people push their opinions on.
Yeah, and everybody has their own different views on it, so.
Exactly. So let's start off with popular belief. Well, first of all, I think popular is stigmatized a lot because people always blame the obese people. They think it's their fault. They think that they're just lazy and they have no self-control and they're consuming all these foods and all these calories every single day because they just want to. When I really think it's more of like an addiction. They're addicted to, like, when people are like sad or depressed, they'll turn to food or something. So I feel like it's more of an addiction.
Yeah.
And people are always blamed for it. Like a statistic is obese men make 3% less than normal weighted men for doing the exact same job. In women, it's even less. It's 6%.
Yeah, and one of the ladies from the video we saw in class, they were talking about how the lady couldn't even sit on next to the skinny girl on a bus because she didn't want the fat girl sitting next to her. So it kind of goes along with, I don't know, people around them always like shaming them for their weight, so they kind of feel like they have no hope.
Exactly, and in that same video, the lady with the shopping cart, the lady came right up to her and took it out of her shopping cart and was like, "You don't even need this." Basically just throwing a punch at her for her weight and saying that she doesn't even need these high-calorie foods.
And I also have, that controversial video by Nicole Arbor, Fat People. That's a good example of popular discourse because she says it's on the people because it's their fault for overeating, and she thinks that, like, she should not have to give up a spot in line at the airport for someone who decided to overeat.
Yeah.
So
it
that
really
just kind of
stupid.
it is.
And it sucks because fat people definitely have lower self-esteem. The girl in the video felt like she couldn't get the housekeeping job just because of her weight, so there was a lot of, low confidence there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very controversial. I personally believe that these people really don't have much control, and, food is their drug, just as, for a drug addict, the drug, keeps them going. I feel like food is like that to them.
Yeah, it's definitely an addiction, just like cigarettes or anything else, and people like to think that they're lazy or...
I don't think people want to walk around and be 400 pounds.
Exactly.
No one wants that. Do you ever see have you ever heard about an obese person saying, I like the way I am?
Yeah.
It's like a cigarette smoker saying, I like smoking cigarettes.
Exactly.
80% of them don't even want to smoke cigarettes. They
right,
and
it's an addiction. It's been proven by scientists that obesity, overeating is an addiction, so it's not like they can really control it like we think they can.
Let's move on to academic discourse on obesity. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, academic science are saying it's the overconsumption of so many calories, and it's because that all these foods, at McDonald's, and these one meals have over half of what you should be consuming in a day, the burgers and the Big Macs and everything. They have over 1,000 calories when on average yours is supposed to be I think it's 2,000 for men, 1,800 for women, something like that.
Depending on the body weight too.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I have that for academic discourse. This is from the article, "To lose weight, eating less is far more important than exercising more." Studies prove that exercise actually doesn't do a lot on a person's weight compared to what people consume. Like you said, people can consume over 400 calories so easily in a hamburger, but it takes 30 minutes of exercising to take away 350 calories.
Exactly. If you're eating crap, doing cardio every day to burn it off is not gonna. You still have all those sugars and fats sitting in your stomach that exercise doesn't burn off. Exercise doesn't equal out eating bad.
Right.
It's 80% of what you eat in the kitchen and 20% working out. That's how weight loss is.
Yeah, basically.
Kind of like with the halo effect, people think that if you're going to eat a big salad, it's similar to eating maybe one cheeseburger, which is not actually true. That's just what people think.
It is true to a point though, because you can eat a huge salad with fattening dressing and all these croutons and just stuff like that, and it can equal 1,000 calories. I've seen salads, and even at like restaurants you see good, like Noodles and Company or Panera, like those salads are very high in calories. You're better off eating a Big Mac because it's less calories.
Yeah.
So people just need to look at like not so much of like the ingredients in their food, but like
the type of calories,
the type of calories, the fats, because like there's different types of fats, like trans fats, saturated fats. Those are good and bad for you.
There's good and bad calories. Yeah. So not all calories are good, not all calories are bad.
And that's what people need to understand when they're trying to cut weight or...
Exactly.
In an article I read, Coke has donated money to build fitness centers in more than 100 schools across the country. It sponsors a program called Exercise is Medicine to encourage doctors to prescribe physical activity to patients.
Yeah.
Which is very ironic.
It's very contradictory because Coca-Cola has so much sugar and terrible things for you, and yet they're trying to promote, which is why they are contradicting themselves. They're trying to make themselves look better by promoting these like healthy lifestyles when they're contradicting a healthy lifestyle. They're adding all this sugar and stuff into their drinks.
Yeah.
Even the diet drinks, they cut out some bad stuff, but they also put more bad stuff in.
Exactly. So they're kind of like, they think it's balancing out, but it really isn't.
Exactly.
The bad stuff is still in there.
Exactly. I read an article saying the diet products are worse for you than regular products because of the artificial ingredients they put in it to make it quote-unquote healthy and...
Right.
The next topic we're going to be discussing is the food industry. The portion sizes are increasing and schools are cutting lunch prices, therefore decreasing quality. Food that is cheaper is probably bad for you.
Exactly. I mean, school lunch budgets being cut is bringing in all these cheaper frozen and sugary foods.
Yep.
Personally, last year when I was in high school still, I constantly remember seeing cheeseburgers, french fries, chicken tenders, Pop-Tarts, chips. The only thing that looked any somewhat healthy about our cafeteria at all was they only served Diet Pop, which is ironic because there's so many studies out there that say that Diet Pop is worse for you.
Right.
That was their quote-unquote way of trying to make
us feel better about eating healthier food.
Feel better about, but all the food did totally contradicted the whole trying to eat healthy thing.
And like the food industry, they believe that their products aren't what cause obesity in the first place. They believe that it's self-control. They believe that people are lazy. Like, for example, I read a Coca-Cola article where the CEO of Coca-Cola said that, I drink like 2 Cokes a day, a Gatorade, and I still have my slim figure. It's like...
And it depends on the metabolism.
Yeah, there's so many like genetic factors that play into a role of being obese or having like a normal BMI.
Right, like portion sizes are increasing. Like
portion sizes, family history of like obesity and like heart disease. Like there's diseases that fluctuate your weight, make you hold on to weight longer, don't let you gain weight.
Right.
So all those genetic factors definitely play a role. They're kind of manipulative because at the same time they're saying it's our fault, but then they're promoting all of their sugary, high-calorie foods.
Yeah.
Like the woman in that documentary we all watched about how she said Ronald McDonald doesn't promote
She promotes
bad
through,
eating.
he promotes through magic and fun.
Through magic and fun through the youth, which is also manipulative because they're purposely advertising to the youth because the youth is considered gullible and naive. Yeah. They'll believe anything, which is true. If you went up to a 6-year-old and told him eat this 1,000-calorie salad over a Big Mac, what do you think he's gonna pick? The salad. Even though he doesn't know what the calorie is at all. And two other things the food industry does is they use stealth marketing, which is placing their products in places where you wouldn't think always to see them. Like, for instance, putting like a Pepsi in a movie or a TV show. You're seeing that, and in the back of your mind, it's always going to be there. And next time you go for a drink, you're going to be like, I want a Pepsi.
Exactly.
Yeah, or those constant commercials.
And the last topic, we're going to talk about political discourse on obesity.
Political discourse believes that obesity is from overeating, which is why Let's Move was created.
So Let's Move was basically a campaign that Michelle Obama created to encourage kids to, stay active, get out there and do more physical activity, which I think was kind of a good idea, but, I mean, do you really think all these kids are actually going to go do that?
If she wanted to make a bigger difference, she should have did the Let's Move movement along with maybe giving more money to schools for their cafeterias, because it goes both ways. Like, being healthy and being a normal weight is a two-way street. It's not one way, and you're just, if you eat okay or if you exercise okay, you're going to be fine. Because if you exercise a lot, you're going to look good on the outside, but you could have heart problems, like anything, and vice versa.
Yeah.
In the documentary Fed Up, Michelle Obama's Let's Move was created, but the food industry soon came in, and her campaign was soon sponsored by industries such as Nestle, Kellogg, and General Mills. So it's kind of like being taken over with, like, overconsumption of calories, and it just kind of takes away the whole point of, like, the Let's Move campaign if, like, all these fatty foods are starting to take over.
Yeah.
And that's what the food industry believes, is that it is because of overeating. It's the consumer's control that's not right. It's not our fault that they're overeating our products.
Right.
When you're constantly shoving them in people's faces through advertisements and stuff like that. The food industry, along with political discourse, also plays the victim role when governments try and get involved. The government is they say the government is denying their freedom and choice of advertising these foods when they're just trying to regulate the obesity crisis. They know what's happening because of the food industry, and they are just playing the victim role, saying it's against their free will, against their freedom of speech to do these advertisements.
Yeah.
In the documentary Fed Up, big brand food is taken away from school cafeterias and replaced with healthier food, helps children eat healthy, and is cheap for governments.
But do you really think the kids are going to choose that over, like, a cheeseburger if they saw it at their cafeteria?
Yeah, probably not.
So, I mean, they're not really doing much. They're just
gullible.
putting it out there and making it more available, but I don't really think that kids are actually going to go eat that versus, like,
goes back
cheeseburgers.
to kids being naive and gullible and believing anything that someone older tells them, which is the manipulative part of the food industry.
Yeah.
Also, through political discourse, the food industry has actually been, like, caught hiring these major lobbying firms to defend them against, like, the government from taking any action against them.
So this has been Fast Food Talk. I'm Emma.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Anthony.
And thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned a little bit about Discourse on Obesity.